Now, we continue our pattern of tracing the verse quoted back to the Old Testament. The only problem is that you can't find where Hebrews 1:6 is quoted from in your Old Testament, and that's because the writer of Hebrews quotes Deuteronomy 32:43 from the Septuagint. The Septuagint is the Greek version of the Hebrew Scriptures, which was produced by 70 Jewish scholars in Alexandria, Egypt. Alexandria was a town that Alexander the Great had set up where Jews could not be harmed. It was a port city. Some scholars think that the Septuagint was written between 285 and 246 BC, which would be during our intertestamental period. All right, let me lay that out. Old Testament, majority of it's written in which language? Alexander the Great, remember our empires, Babylon, Medo-Persia, and then Greek, and then Rome. So during that Greek time, Alexander the Great Hellenizes the world, and people are speaking Greek all over the known world. You with me? So the Old Testament, by the time Jesus and the New Testament come on the scene, the Old Testament has been translated into Greek. And that was done by those scholars. What were the dates on that I put? 285 to 246 BC. So that's in our intertestamental period. Well, we call that the Septuagint. The writer of Hebrews is not quoting from the Hebrew version of Deuteronomy 32:43. He's quoting it from the Septuagint, or the Greek version of Deuteronomy 32:43. And obviously, Paul uses this all the time, which I think is part of the reason why a lot of people think Pauline authorship, because Paul would quote from the Septuagint. If you've ever read the New Testament, you're like, well, they quoted it a little bit different. Well, if you'll just go read the Septuagint, a lot of times they're quoting it straight from there, okay? Because they're Greek speaking and they're not Hebrew speaking. But nonetheless, don't let the word Septuagint throw you off, because this is important for Hebrews 1:6, because in the Septuagint you see something that's not in Deuteronomy 32:43, probably even in your version. I know it's not in New King James. I'll be interested to see what you guys come up with out of some of that. So anyway, let's look back at the notes. That makes sense? Everybody good on Septuagint? Greek translation of the Hebrew Scriptures. It's not complicated. Okay.